Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the darkest timeline. So, you got me for this one. No guest. Keep toying with the idea of getting a guest. Should I get a guest? What do you think? Time for a guest? Maybe get a guest. I've got an idea of who I might get on. Yeah, anyway. Today, we are talking birthdays. We had a birthday in our house, talking about what that looked like, all the fun of the fair. And the rest is me contradicting myself for the entire podcast. This one would be called the Contradiction Podcast. We've got running and working out and exercising things, and me having a bit of a grumble like the old days. I've got TV, games. I'm actually trying to do a game review of sorts. The sort of tip of the spear of a game review. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Share the podcast around, people. Come on, share it. Do it. Go on. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the darkest timeline. Hello, how are you doing? I've had to rush to get started, because I have other things to do. And I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, busy man, Mr. Social. Oh yeah, what you got going on? It's computer games. It's absolutely computer games, and obviously we'll cover that. I'm hoping to cover it in depth in a bit, but that will really test the limits of my reviewing capabilities, which if you've listened to this podcast before, you'll know. My reviews are very much 50-50 in the, this was good, or then 3 hours of me going, this was shit, let me tell you why. And some of the reviews today are going to be a real mixed bag. Anyway, before we get to that, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having a good time. And like I've taken to saying recently, if you're not, please feel free to reach out. Anybody here at the podcast will take the time to talk to you. Free at the time, make themselves available to talk to you if that's something that you feel you need. If you don't feel like talking to strangers on the internet, then please do reach out to friends, family, or any services that are available. There are many services available out there, and we encourage you to do that. You are a fantastic person, and let's keep it that way. So, I haven't even got the list up. Today is going to be an experiment in what happens when you write a list and then go, wow, at which point in time did I write this? No movie. Absolutely penciled in to watch a movie. Definitely going to watch a movie. Did not watch a movie. Again, we'll get to that shortly. Also, a large chunk of my TV watching is a rewatch. So, limited TV, but there is a little bit of TV. Anyway, enough of that. Let's... If I was to name... If I was to name this podcast, the name of this episode would be the Contradiction Podcast. However, let's get down to the good stuff. The good stuff is we had a birthday in our house. That's right. We like birthdays around here. We have a lot of them. Often, because, there's a lot of us, so birthdays happen quite a lot. So yes, we had a birthday. Jolly good time was had. We had the difficult task of conducting a birthday on the same day as the party. Oh, it's a rough one. I kept saying to people, I was like, I am not mentally, physically, or emotionally ready to do this party. That was a bit of a lie. If I'm honest, it was a little bit of a lie. And what I meant by that was I had a feeling that I didn't need to really worry about it. I had a feeling it was kind of going to be largely taken care of. We did what we generally do, which is we booked a party. We invited some children, and away you go. But barring one of the children, all the children have reached an age now where you don't really have to worry too much. It's not like you're herding cats. It's more of a turn up, like 90% of the parents are like, you don't mind if I just, I'll come back in a bit and you'll be all right, won't you? Somebody said to me, they're like, I'm just going to pop out. You're all right looking after my child, aren't you? Now, in my head, I'm like, absolutely, no problem. No worries. I'll look after your child with my 4 and the other children that I'm responsible because, you know, my children brought friends. So I think I had 6 kids under my umbrella. Is that right? Yes, because 6 kids under my watchful eye. I definitely didn't lose one of my own children. So that's good. Moving on. So, a birthday and a party all on the same day. I said to my daughter, do you not think it's weird that it's your birthday and you don't want anything? You don't really want anything. So the wave of panic setting, and she's like, no, but I do because I was like, name me something you've asked for. And she said, I want this. And then my panic set in because I went, oh shit. She absolutely asked for that. She absolutely said, I'd like this for my birthday. And me and Lan completely ignored that request. And this was 2 days before her birthday. So, you know, put in a quick order and correct that mistake. To be fair, that was easily remedied, but yes, that could have gone horribly wrong. Outside of that, I'm like, yeah, but what else did you want? I'm like, this is the problem. Our children have so much stuff, so many things, so many toys, so many games, so many options available to them that they couldn't possibly want anything or ask for anything. We've got another birthday. Where are we? Literally 3 months away. We've got another birthday to deal with. And even now, I'm like, I bet you dollars to donuts. If you say, what do you want for your birthday? It will be, because what could these children possibly want? The most surprising thing is, I said to all of my children, oh, it's payday, and it's a bigger payday. So as I like to do, I'll get you all a treat, etc. Like if I ever do any overtime, I always say to them, if the overtime impacts them, I'll spend the money that I make on them. I only feel that's sort of fair. So I was like, yeah. And I mentioned it to. I said to one of my children, I was like, you get a birthday, so you're a bit shit. Have a look, really. And I said to another child, I was like, what do you want? And they were like, go out? Like, sure. And I said to another child, I was like, what do you want? And yeah. The fact that I said to my son, I was like, what do you want? And he's like, I want a monster truck. I was like, what, to go with all the other monster trucks you don't play with? I was like, you've got a problem. You need to stop buying monster trucks. And finally, I'm like, I went through it with each of the children. And the fourth child, I'm like, and what do you want? And she was like, oh, I'd like this. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Because she actually had an idea. And I was like, well, I'd thought about getting you this because, it's something that we've spoken about. It's something you might use. It's something you might want. I was going to throw it out as a suggestion. She was like, oh, yeah, there is that. And I was shocked. So, yeah, birthday was very big. Like lots of the children that she had for a party brought gifts. We didn't really go too overboard. We asked what she wanted and she told us and she got what she asked for and that was kind of that. And party went off without a hitch. I always have that thing. Nobody died. Which is kind of a win. And then if you work it down from there, nobody got injured. So that's a win. No, I was about to say nobody got lost. That is not true. And then down from there, it's like, did everybody have a good time? And everybody seemed to have a good time. And off they went. And we did all of our bits, dropped everybody off that we needed to drop off, and home. And it's like, right, now we have to do tea. Does anybody want any tea? No, not really. Cool. So that was that. Or so we thought. So, 24 hours later, same child is going to a party. Off she pops. I get a message from Leanne that just reads, there are 36 children at this party, and I felt like somebody had reached up inside me and grabbed hold of my soul and was forcibly trying to pull it out of. Well, I'll let you imagine that one. 36 children. Can you imagine? There's so many logistics involved, so many things, just the sheer, I mean, just the cost alone. I know how many children we had at the birthday party that we hosted, and I know how much that birthday party cost. Yeah, just cost alone. The noise. Can you imagine the volume? The volume. Can you imagine? I started sending messages to people. I was like, hey, I've just received a message saying that my daughter's at a birthday party where there are 36 kids. Just picture it. And people were coming back like, I mean, that sounds like an actual living hell. I'm like, can you picture 36 kids? And then Leanne comes back and she's like, oh, there was that child that was kicking another child. I'm like, oh, God. Oh, my God. Can you fucking imagine? Oh, wow. But that was that. I didn't have to go. I didn't have to deal with it. I had no part of it other than the fact that, like, my daughter was invited. She went, and Leanne took her, and I had all the other children to look after, and that was largely 3 children doing 3 completely different things. Honestly, I said to 2 of them, I was like, if you guys can agree on something that you'll watch together, then that's good, because then me and your other sibling, we can go and do something, and it'd be like 2 and 2. Honestly, I'm a man that makes 4 different lunches. You know, the parent you swear you're not going to be. I'm a man that has a collection of children down one end of the room watching one thing, a child down the other end of the room watching something completely different, and a child in a different room watching something completely different. And I just go pillar to post like a fucking pinball. Are you all right now? How are you doing? Is this good? Are you enjoying this? Okay. Do you need anything? All right. Okay. I'm just going to go and check on these guys. I'll be back in a minute. That is me. That is my life. So that was that. Weekend done, weekend over. Problem solved. No dramas, no issues, no nothing. I get up this morning. I'm like, right, I've got to get all my stuff done. The usual, get up, get weighed, do a run, weigh myself again, get ready, go to work. There you go. There you go. I'm getting ready to go out the door. My daughter comes down the stairs. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? She's like, what? I'm like, did you grow overnight? Now I get it. I know that there's like a thing like, oh, you know, that's what people say. I'm like, did you get taller overnight? Because I understand, you know, you're a year older, and I know that you like kids have a growth spurt, and I get all that, but you are physically taller at this point in time compared to where you were yesterday. And that is not even a joke. That is in no way, shape, or form a joke. You are categorically taller. Leanne is coming down the stairs, and she's like, are you commenting on her height? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck's going on? She's like, I've just said the same. I've just said to her, did you grow in the night? I'm like, okay, so it's not just me then. She then goes and compares herself to like my height and her siblings' height. And I'm like, you are an entire head taller. And I'm pretty sure you are like, it feels like 6 inches taller than you were yesterday, like 12 hours ago. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? What is happening here? Is this a thing? Is this even humanly possible? Speaking of humans, is this some sort of alien abduction situation? And who's been abducted? Her or me? So weird. I saw her this evening, because that's how it works in our house. You know, there are times when I'm like, have I seen one of my children in the last few days? And this is a man who doesn't always see his children. So you're like, I said to my son, like a week ago or something, I was like, have I seen you in the last 3 days? We live in the same house. I saw her this evening, and I'm like, it's not just me. I genuinely think. I was like, did your dance teacher comment on how much taller you are? She was like, no, she didn't even know it was my birthday. Like, that's not the question I asked. Did she comment on you being like, I'm sure like half a foot taller than you were a week ago? No? Okay. Honestly, it has freaked me the fuck out. And this is the thing. I I am a man who is shrinking. It's something that I had to accept many moons ago when somebody told me that my granddad shrunk over the years, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And then years later, I came in contact with my father at some point and was like, were you always this short? Because I always had this thing that my dad was like a tall man. And then at some point I was like, you're shorter than me. Like quite a bit. And there was this whole, oh, don't you know, that's a trait. I was like, cool. And then I started shrinking and was like, okay, there we go. But recently, I was having a conversation with my eldest at one point, and I turned because she was stood next to me. She'd like moved to stand next to me, and I turned and was like, whoa, you are like not far off being like close to my height. That's weird. So I think it's like a combination. Like I'm obviously getting shorter and they're all getting taller. So, it would make sense that you turn around at one point like, whoa, you are taller. I wrote on my list that I might have finally dialed in the food. It's been a long time coming, especially like over the course of the year. Like it's been a real sort of mixed bag, been a real hit and miss with this, that, and the other. I increased the number of days fasting because it was just getting a little out of control, and all of this, like you can bring it back on a Sunday, but by the time you get to a Saturday, it's absolutely out of whack, and you just go round and round and round. And I knew I needed to sort of really dial it in. So, over the course of last week, I was like, right, don't eat it until this time, and when you do eat, only eat this, and then when when you get to sort of tea time, just have a meal and be done, and and all this. It was going well. It was going great. Additional day of fasting was really helping. Fantastic. Now, I wrote this on the list last week. As you would expect, if you're working through the week, you're like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. I'm doing it. I'm getting locked in. Last Monday, lowest weight of the year. Everything's looking rosy. Everything's looking peaches. Everything's great. Got on the scales this morning, and like I say, last week, lowest weight of the year. So, unfortunately, as these things sometimes go, little bit over this Monday. I'm like, that's fine. Don't need to worry about that. It kind of expected in a way because, not going to lie, I had a piece of birthday cake because, birthdays and shit. I hate the fact that it's a thing, but honestly, this birthday cake looked phenomenal. And I was like, I can't not have a piece, just a piece. I'll just have a little piece, it'll be all right. But it's one of those kind of cakes where there's no such thing as a little piece. So when you do that, you go, okay, I'm probably going to be a little over this week. But the week went really well. So I just need to keep on track, keep everything moving in the right direction. Everything's great. We're in a good place. Wonderful. I was a little bit over. There you go. So just focus, dial it back in. Job done. Everybody's happy. Not entirely sure what happened from that point on, because I ended up eating like it was my last day on Earth. Do not know what happened. There was a part of me that was like, quick, we have to eat because we're never going to eat again. And, the big difference is when you eat and it's like, I ate all this veg. I ate this high protein meal, followed with another high protein meal and a protein shake. And I had another protein shake and I had a protein bar. It's all in a certain, a certain way. And it's like, yeah, great, fantastic, wonderful. And then it's like, well, you have a plate of veg, a massive plate of veg, and a load of protein. Big thumbs up to you, sir. You did well there. Obviously, little bit of birthday cake probably won't go amiss. So then when I opened the list earlier to see what we had to talk about today, and I was like, you fucking moron. So, as I said, this is the Contradiction Podcast, where I talk about the things that I wrote on a list at a particular point in time, which now I'm like, that didn't age well, did it? Taking my jumper off because, sweating the truth and all that. So, here's another one. I can explain this one a little bit better. There is a sign on the way I drive when I go to work. There's a sign halfway up. Oh. There's a sign for the York 10K. And I see the sign and I go, oh, yep, York 10K. Mustn't forget York 10K. Must sign up, York 10K, etc., etc., etc. I'm like, maybe I should start getting dialed in for this. It's, it's not exactly around the corner. It's a few months away. Plenty of time. But I'm in that world of, when you're like, gun to your head, if you had to run a 10K right now, if an armed man broke into your house and was like, I'm gonna do terrible things if you don't run out the door now and do a 10K, could you do it? Yeah. Would you get halfway into that 10K and go, for fuck's sake, I've got the rest of this fucking 10K to do? I think so, yes. I run X number of 5Ks a week. And it's one of those. Sometimes I'm out there and I'm like, fuck this fucking run. Like when you get hit by a bike or something like that. Other times I'm out there, I'm like, it's going. Yeah, it's not my favorite thing to do in the world, but yeah, moving along nicely, chugging along. So my thing is always you have a good run and a bad run. For example, I went out this morning. Monday morning, I always find a bit stiff because I try to do as little as possible on a Sunday. So a little bit stiff. The body needs motion is the lotion, as Mark Bell would say. So that run, that stiff first few steps, followed by a stiff quarter of a mile, followed by a slightly less but still stiff half a mile, and so on and so on. You've got to get the first mile under your belt before you're even feeling the benefit. By the time you've done that, you're on the home stretch. You're heading home. 2 mile run and you're a mile in. After that, everything's fine. And you could probably continue, but you don't have to because you're heading home and so on and so forth. So when you're doing a 5K, sometimes you're out there and I could go further. But I don't need to. One of the days that I do a 5K is a leg day. Starts with a 5K. It's got a dog walk involved. It's got a leg workout. It's got a treadmill session. It's got another dog walk. And there's probably a trip to school and back. Somewhere sandwiched in there. It's bordering on 20,000 steps with a leg workout sandwiched in the middle. It's good stepping. Other days very similar. If there's another day with a 5K, there's probably a few more steps. Some days you're like, don't expect to see a huge amount of steps today. Like if you do a leg day on a Tuesday, you don't really want to be focusing on legs on a Wednesday. So you're like, okay, take it easy. And then you romp in with 16, 18,000 steps. You're like, well, that went horribly wrong, didn't it? So great, fine, wonderful. But if you said to me, right, tomorrow morning, get out there, do a 10K, I'd be like, Okay. If you then said, and the way I want you to do it is to do the 5K and then do it again, that would probably be a definition of insanity. And this is coming from a man that once ran 10 miles by running a 4-mile loop twice and then added 2 miles on at the end. One of the single worst decisions I've made in my life. It was mentally excruciating. So I'm now like, oh, gotta make sure I got it. So here's the thing. Do I just say I've got 6 months to practice? I need to add 1K per month to my long run so that in 6 months' time, I'm doing 10K as an average, go out, do the York 10K and aim to beat any previous times, come home with a medal and be like, there we go, that's done. Or do I do what I did on one of the previous ones where at 10 days out, I was like, shit, I best practice for a 10K. I'll just add a K a day up to the race and then we're done. And that's what I did. And then I went out and ran a 10K and that was that done. Finding recently that I get quite a bit from running in a variety of different ways. Different things, it has different effects. Most are positive. There are some negatives. Obviously, I'm an old man. Body's not what it used to be. It can take a bit of a pounding from running, which is why I've dialed back on some of the running. Yet now I'm talking about doing more. Might not be the right move. What I need to do is sign up for the 10K, and then it's done. And I've signed up for it, and then I just have to kind of do it. Ugh, the thought of it. See, the thing is, I've done it in the past. It's pleasant enough. You get to run around a beautiful city, or what used to be a beautiful city. Gone to the dogs a little bit. You get to run around a beautiful city. It's a great course. You get to see stuff that you don't normally see, etc., etc., etc. And then it has one of the single worst finishes of any race you could ever imagine, because they show you the finish line and then they say run away from the finish line for half a mile and then come back, and the whole time you're like, I want to fucking die because I think you are actually killing me off right now. And that's the 10K. So I'm saying to you, the lovely people, I'm thinking of doing more running. Remember how we were talking about This is the Contradiction podcast? The next thing on my list is I'm thinking of doing less. Yep. What do I mean? I just keep coming back to the same thing. And the same thing is, I'm not a young man anymore. And I probably do too much. Think about average day. Like I said, you take a leg day. That leg day it's up there. It's pretty brutal. Arm day. Oof. I've increased the arm day. And the arm day also features some legs. Climbing 3 days a week, running X number of days a week, treadmill walks, dog walks, working out 6 days a week. Maybe it's too much. And this is something I spoke about a few weeks ago, where I was saying, maybe I should knock the treadmill walks off. There'd have to be some sort of quite distinct changes. Days like today where I'm like, I ate like a fucking savage today. Well, that's not going to wash if you're removing an element of exercise. I've been seeing a lot of stuff recently that's saying like the optimal workout sort of split is 3 times a week. Can you imagine 3 times a week? I mean, really? I think there is scope to do 3, 4, 5 days a week. But I think obviously any sort of professional of a certain description would say 6 days a week is potentially not the right way of doing things. So is that. I said to Leanne, I was like, what would I do? Well, if I wasn't doing all this other stuff, what would I do with my time? She was like, maybe enjoy life. I was like, yeah, maybe. So, all these things that you just don't have the time to do. You're not able to do. Do some of those things. It's like, yeah, I could. But, no, I don't mean it like that. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to go from like somebody at work said to me today, like, are you still on your diet? I was like, yeah. They're like, how much weight have you lost now? I was like, in total, I've lost 16 stone. And they were with someone. They were stood and somebody was sat down, and the person that they were with was like, what? They were like, that's the whole person. I was like, it's more than me. It's more than I weigh. Like, oh yeah, you're half the man you used to be. I was like, I'm more than half the man I used to be. And this person was like, I am genuinely in shock. I'm like, but it's a long ass road. It's not like I did it yesterday. So for all of these years of being in this sort of, I need to work out, I need to run, I need to do this, that, and the other, sign up for a 10K, sign up for a 5K, do a park run, take on climbing, take up, doing this, that, and the other. It's a lot of years to do a lot of the sort of same sorts of things. To now get to a point of going, maybe I shouldn't. I listened to a series of podcasts recently where they have been hammering you only need to work out 3 times a week. And I'm like, oh, that sounds awful. I keep talking to a mate of mine who he's very much you only need to do it 3 times a week and you just do a full body split and be done. Do it in half an hour and do this. And I'm like, oh, God, that sounds terrible. But I do have to accept that I am getting older. And honestly, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm really tired. I said to my daughter the other day, I was like, that bit in the first Into the Spider-Verse where the original Peter Parker gets slammed by the Green Goblin and is being held down, and he just goes, I am so tired. It's like, that is my spirit animal. This was by the time where I was showing her that my app that I use for working out and exercising and stuff told me that I was 12 hours in sleep debt. I'm like, you're telling me? I feel every minute of it. They're like, you need to start getting ready to go to bed at 7:20 tonight to be in bed ready to sleep at 5 to 8. And I was like, yeah, of course. It's like, you need 11 hours sleep. I was like, of course. Something I've been talking about recently with a few people, mostly people I work with, especially people I work with on a Monday, is about the fact that it is getting increasingly more difficult to be able to get to work. I feel it's just the Monday morning one is the worst. Now, I will take some responsibility for this one. I fucking hate Monday morning. I've been through this many times before. It's not the standard, it's Monday. It's not the standard, what happened to the weekend. It's none of that. I don't like the things I have to do on a Monday morning to get to the point where I can go to work. It's always going to be a bad start for me. This morning, I set off from the house. I'm like, right, I've got to take my son, drop him off. And then I have to battle my way to work. So off we go. We turn down this street. And I was saying to my son, I was like, every single week I say I have to stop coming down this street because the parking is obscene. There's this sort of movement at the moment of we're going to park as many cars as humanly possible on a corner. The mentality of this is off the charts. I can't even fathom the thought process that goes into this. Is a big, long, swooping corner, and we are going to park 30 cars on the corner. You cannot see past them. You cannot get round them. There are no brakes because all of them are bumper to bumper. If you're going, you have to go and hope for the best. And 50% of the time, there's something coming the other way. And if you're lucky, it's not one of the assholes that's like, oh, it's my right of way. Yes, it is your right of way, but when I set off 10 minutes ago, what the fuck would you like me to do right now? Well, by the way, there's a car behind me, so what do you want to do here? So, that's that. I get to drop my son off. I'm like, I've got to stop going this way. It's just the worst. I get back in the car. Off we pop. Here we go. I set off. I go round another section where there are so many cars parked. And I get halfway through and there's a car coming the other way. And the car's looking at me like I'm a criminal because how dare I? And I am literally like, I cannot see you from all the way back there. The road was clear when I set off, and it's only coming round this corner with you coming the other way. Are we now in this situation? So, as I say, car has to move. I go round the corner. I'm like, fuck me, look at this shit show. You go into a school zone that previously was actually not that bad for parking. They've got a big car park, and there seems to be some sort of system where they seem to keep cars away from the road, from the school. All of that's gone. All that's changed. Now there are cars fucking everywhere. I'm like, cool. You drive down from there, you cross over, and you go, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? The longest road, and it is just wall to fucking wall parking. So many fucking cars. And I'm like, okay, when I'm in charge, there will be a rule. And that rule is, if you can't park it on your drive, you can't have it. Simple as that. On-street parking should be illegal. And I know that we live in a world now. I am a man who lives in a 2-car family. And you know what? I've got a 3-car driveway. So, who the fuck cares? Literally, I can park both vehicles on my drive. And I understand I'm fortunate. My driveway is long. I can get 3 cars on it without breaking a sweat. In a situation where you own 2 vehicles and you can't get one of them on your drive, here's a series of things that you can potentially look into. Number 1, make a bigger driveway. We made a bigger driveway, not for the reason you think. We made a bigger driveway because when we got 2 cars, walking down the side was very different when there's another car. So grass started getting a bit worn away, started getting a little bit muddy. You're bringing the mud in the house. We cut out a space, put a few extra flagstones down. Boom. Chicken dinners all round. Problem solved. And if I can do it, well, fuck me, every single person should be able to do it. Especially in a situation where you look at a driveway and you go, you could get both cars on that driveway if you just had an extra foot to the side. That's like what? A row of bricks? Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds a little specific. Fucking too right specific. If you can't park it on your drive, you shouldn't have it. And I know, we used to live in a time where a lot of people didn't have cars. Families didn't have cars. I remember when we got a car. It was a big thing. Never seen anything like it. We got a car. And so began the series of cars that my mother wrote off. So there was a point in time where we lived at a house that had, spoilers, a 3-car driveway. We had a car. Boom. Nothing but net. Our house, the house next door to us, had a massive driveway. It had a 2-car and a driveway to the side. 3-car. Boom. Yes, sirree, Bob. So, it's possible. That was the 90s. So, maybe a consideration. There's a house around the corner from me. They have got a car. You can see this house from my house if you stand in a certain place. They have a car. Okay, 1 car, just the one. They could fit 6 cars on their driveway if they wanted. Whereas there's another house around the corner that has 6 cars and a 2-car driveway. What do you suppose that looks like? 6 cars. 6 cars. When I walk the dog, there's a house on a corner. They have 4 vehicles and a 2-car driveway. 2 adults that live there. Over the park from where I live, there is a house. There are 4 adults. There are 9 vehicles. 9 vehicles. The concept of only being able to drive 1 car at a time, in theory, means 4, surely. It's got too much. It's gone too far. I get the corporate world of, we all, like I say, I live in a 2-car family. We use 2 cars. Variety of different occasions requires 2 cars. There are occasions where we don't. There are occasions where we need 1 car. I get it. I am part of the problem. But both cars are parked on the drive right now, unless somebody's stolen one. Never know, do you? Anybody? Am I on my own on this one? On-street parking should be illegal. Simple. I imagine at this point in time, my neighbours are listening to me going, on-street parking should be illegal, should it? We agree. I watched the last episode of Watchmen. All in all, it was a good series. I enjoyed it. I didn't like the way it went at the back end. I didn't like the way they finished it. I didn't like the fact that they felt the need to bring characters in it from the movie, bring back characters, but ultimately change them. They were using what I believe is an alternate version of the story, of the reality, an alternate world to a degree. So there is that. They chose to follow one of the different endings for the film, which has been brought more to the forefront more recently, and then you have to presume that the characters that are then sort of there are a version of a character from an alternate version of the story. But I felt they kind of... It's 9 episodes. I think they got 7 episodes in, and then they were like, and added a crutch that maybe wasn't needed. For me, it wasn't needed. I didn't need it. There was a twist, kind of twist that you get just before it happens. You go, right, yeah, get it, okay. And then, a few more twists. It was very much a twisty-turny series. I believe there are no plans for another series, and I'm okay with that. I don't feel like I'm being robbed by not getting another series out of it. It was an enjoyable watch. I'm glad I watched it. I'd heard really good things about it. I think it was a touch overhyped because it had its problems. However, barring that, I really enjoyed it. It took me a little while to get through. When you're dealing with like hour-long episodes anyway, it's just going to take longer. Like me and Lana are rewatching, or I'm rewatching Tulsa King. She's watching it for the first time, and they're like 30-40 minute episodes, and those 30-40 minute episodes feel like the right amount of time. I've watched, like I say, hour-long episodes of Watchmen, and The Penguin was like some episodes were, an actual hour. So yeah, just takes a little bit longer to get through. I have jumped to a new series of a TV show that I've been watching. However, I did not finish the first episode, so I can't talk about that until probably next week. Again, I'm a third of the way into the first episode, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this. That kind of already kind of thing. Like, we'll see. We'll see what I have to say about it next week. Again, another series I thoroughly enjoy, but yeah, we'll definitely see on that one. I've got 3 games to talk about. One of them I'm going to try and do like an early impression kind of review for, and test my reviewing capabilities. So let's get through some other games. Really had a passion for trying to get some sort of real in-depth RPG action going, and that brought me to a game that I was bought for not Christmas gone, the one before, which, having installed the 120 gigs that it is, played it for, I'm going to say, an hour maybe, and went, holy shit balls, this is above my pay grade. I'll come back to that. And apparently, 15 months later, I did. I put Baldur's Gate 3 on. I needed some super in-depth RPG action, and I felt that was going to tick the box. It was a gift, so I was like, hey, I will come back. And I did. Oh boy. Definitely above my pay grade. However, I persevered, and I really did persevere, because not the easiest of games. Quite difficult in a lot of places, especially when you spend like 25 minutes doing some sort of like fight, battle, whatever, to then have all of your party get killed and ultimately you fail. To then have to do it again and try and work out what the fuck you did wrong the first time. The more I played, the more I got into it, the more I started to learn certain things. And I spoke to a guy that I work with, and I was like, oh, you said you were playing this. I'm now playing this. And he gave me loads of information, loads of pointers, loads of like, oh, don't forget you can do this. And I was like, I didn't know that. And he was like, yeah, if you combine these two things, they work really well together. Don't forget to do this. Make sure you buy these potions and use those. Make sure you go here. Make sure you look at this. And just loads of information. And I was like, that's great. I really appreciate that. I was waiting for another game to install, played some Baldur's Gate 3, and had a massive battle thing, and then died, and was like, I'm waiting for a game to install, and I'm playing this because I'm waiting. I don't really want to try and do that again, so I need something different. Having played Dead Island 2 and thoroughly enjoying the majority of it, I didn't feel like I needed to play what is essentially the same game straight off the bat. It's kind of why I ended up with Baldur's Gate 3. But previously I had been playing Dying Light the Beast, or the third Dying Light. I was like, do you know what? I might just put that on for a bit of running around action. So I played a bit of Dying Light 3. Which is fine. It's enjoyable. It's not quite Dead Island 2, which is a shame, because for want of a better way of putting it, I feel like they've basically just ripped the entire thing off. Like it's almost identical in so many ways. I kind of wished I'd have played them the other way around, so that I could have had a more appreciation for Dead Island 2. But que sera, sera. Or c'est la vie. So here we go. Well, what was the game I was installing that was also over 120 gigs? It was 126 gigs with updates. I broke all the rules, had a new game, and have been playing said new game since. I am playing the very controversial is not the right word, divisive is the word I want, Crimson Desert, a game that is loved and hated in equal measures. I got real worried because there was sort of pre-order situation, which don't usually bother with, but I was really hyped for this, and then reviews came out day of, and you've never seen a game get more mixed reviews. I saw a thing that was saying that like 2 places are giving it a 10, and the review scores went all the way down to 5 out of 10. When I googled it, Metacritic had it at 79%. The next review was 3 out of 5. Some like you'll see a review and it's like, I fucking hate this game and here's everything that's wrong with it. You'll then go to the next review and it's, this could be the best game ever made. You go to the next review and it's like, if you like this game, this game, this game, and this game, then just play those because Crimson Desert's rubbish. You go to the next review. I don't care what anyone says about Crimson Desert. Any game where you can pick up a cat and stroke it and then carry it around for the rest of the game is good enough for me. And it is literally just that. I've seen people doing video reviews where they're basically screaming straight down the camera. I've seen people doing video reviews where they're like, this could be my favorite game. I've seen reviews where people are like, I've played this game for 110 hours and hated every minute of it. And I've seen reviews that are, I've played this for 111 hours and it's the best game ever. It is the most pendulum swing of a game ever. So, I've played this for 6 hours and here's what I think, and that before release. A lot of people get like these early access versions and everybody was hyping it, and this was part of the problem. This game is massive. It has so many game mechanics that you would think, spoiled for choice. Do you know the thing that I'm reminded of? I'm reminded of the game Prototype. Why? Because Prototype was almost too much. Okay, you have given us what is going to be, by the end of the game, possibly the strongest computer game character ever made. There's claws and swords and whips and hammer fist things and armor and disguises, and you fly a helicopter and you can drive a tank and you can do all of these things. Nobody stopped to ask if it was too much. The human brain can only take so much, especially at once. Crimson Desert is too much. It takes you, this is no joke, days of playing. Now, when I say that, I'm a dad in my 40s. Days of playing to me is probably 4 hours. But it takes you many, many hours of playing to go, I want to go into the inventory. That means I have to press this button and this button and then this button. I want to change my weapon. I need to press this button and this button. Damn it, I pressed the wrong button. I need to press this button and this button. And then I have to press this button 8 times. You get told that early on, but you're never going to remember. It's got so many things. I will say this much. Early on, it was like, here, go and have an arm wrestle with this guy. I was like, I don't fucking want to. It's like, well, it's tough shit because it's part of the tutorial. Get on with it. I was like, I don't care. I have arm wrestled one person and have never arm wrestled anyone since. When it says to you, hey, climb this tower, P.S., you don't have the stamina to do it. Okay. Oh, there's a ledge halfway up. I'll use the ledge. Or I'll fall off it every time I try. Cool. Lean into the glitch and just glue yourself to the wall. Is it a perfect game? No. I've had more hard crashes playing Crimson Desert than on any game I've ever played. Because I don't think I've ever had a hard crash on a PS5. And it's been a long time since I had a hard crash on a PS4. I mean, hold down the button to turn it off hard crash. I can do it consistently on Crimson Desert by doing 2 things. Put the game on and open the map. Hard crash. Simple. Is the fighting difficult? Yes, it is. It's really difficult. Unless, of course, you do the thing that the game's been telling you, and everybody that's played the game has told you from the very beginning. If it's too hard, go and do something else. It's the Elden Ring principle. If you can't beat a boss, you're probably not supposed to. Go and do something else. There's plenty of other shit to be doing. The game doesn't hold your hand. It does. It's basically guided me through all the way up to now. I've been playing it for 4 days. It's pretty much guided me every step of the way. Every step? No, it leaves you in the lurch multiple times for you to go, the fuck am I supposed to do here? Google is your best friend. You know, like all those other games you've ever played. We have to Google the answer, look up a walkthrough, try and find out how you're supposed to get through that door. 9 times out of 10, it's forgetting a mechanic that you've been told at some other point in time. Is it annoying when your horse runs out of stamina and just plods along? Yeah, sure is. But apparently, if you Google how the fuck do I get my horse to not do that, it tells you that your horse is tired, needs to go to the stables. So then you have to find a stable, and you go to the stable, and then your horse is recovered. Buy a new horse while you're there if you like. Is this sword that I got at the start of the game going to kill that boss? No, it fucking isn't. Go and get a better sword. While you're at it, try and find a better shield. Get yourself some armour while you're there, yeah? Oh, and, that's right. Level the fuck up. Crimson Desert is a flawed game. In a lot of ways. I genuinely think a lot of the hatred the game gets is off the back of all these other games that have been released recently. Your Marathons, your Concords, your High Guards, games that cost $250 million that were released to nobody fucking wanted them, nobody played them, and they got shut down in a very short space of time. Do you know what I think? I think all the bad reviews for Crimson Desert are off the back of that. I think those studios and the people that made and put out those games are probably paying for a lot of the bad reviews, because every gamer in the world wants a live service game, an extraction shooter, a multiplayer game, because those are the games that make money. Crimson Desert broke pre-order records. The company that released it earned $20 million on pre-orders. 1 minute, nobody wants this game, everybody hates it, nobody wants to play it. Oh, it's got a higher player count than X number of games put together. You can't have it both ways. You want it to do badly, all you have to do is play it. Now, somebody comes to me with a review, I'll go, do you know what? That sounds terrible. But the only way I'm going to know for sure is if I play it, watch it, read it, do it. That's generally how I operate. I got to a point where I realized that reviews can be swayed. It was the movie Venom. I didn't see Venom originally because Venom came out and I was very looking forward to it, and it got terrible reviews. And I watched it, and although it wasn't the best movie ever made, I thought it was perfectly fine. And I was annoyed, because what I realised was that there was a high chance that Disney paid for the bad reviews because of that whole Sony Marvel bullshit. You know what? I don't care about your fucking corporate bullshit. I just want to know if it's good. If it's good, let me watch it. Have I played Crimson Desert? Yes. Have I enjoyed it? For the majority. I shouted at a boss a few times and realised that I was breaking the rules of, if it's hard, go and do something else. I went off and did a few things. I leveled up. I got some gear. I came back and I beat him first time. Tells you everything you need to know. I've played some tough games over the last couple of years. Elden Ring, Chronos, even things like Rise of Ronin, a game that on the face doesn't seem like it's going to be tough, but it's a tough game. Games that teach you that there's probably another way to do it if you're stuck. The world is massive. It's got so many things going on. Yet, you spend the majority of your time in the first city. There are so many cool features, like the thing where you go up into what's called the abyss, which is way up in the sky, and jump off and do like skydiving type stuff. I saw a video this evening where somebody did that and then climbed on a dragon, and I was like, oh, fuck off. Anybody that's like, this game's rubbish, tell me another game where you can jump off a giant thing in the sky, fall, and land on a dragon, which you then fly around on. Yeah. So many things, so many mechanics, too many. And then today, I see this thing. Crimson Desert's had a massive patch, and it's addressing this. It listed all these things. I was like, oh my word. This is what we're talking about. I'm talking about how fast this patch has come out, how it's addressed 90% of the issues the game has. Stuff that I was like, that is perfect. Other things where I was like, I didn't realise that needed tweaking, but cool. I got beaten by a boss last night, and it's saying that it's going to change the difficulty for bosses. Will it affect the one I was fighting last night? We'll find out in a bit. This review could go on, and it will, because I'm working on the principle this time next week I'll probably still be playing Crimson Desert, and that's the way I think it's going to go. And you know, people are like, oh, it's 120 hours to roll credits on this game. Okay, I've played Assassin's Creed games that take less time, and ultimately you get to the end and don't really feel all that fulfilled. Will I feel the same about this? Who knows? But I'm prepared to find out. Finally, I'm still plugging away into the Radius 2, wondering at which point the story mode is going to be due. But yeah, one of those, I think I'll, like I often do, I think I'll finish it this time round, which I don't think I'm far away from finishing it. And then I think I'll maybe put it on the shelf for a little while and wait for the next update. I imagine the next update will wipe out all of the mods. So obviously it's a different game when you're playing without the mods. Right, there we go. Like I say, look out for more Crimson Desert stuff if you're even remotely interested in that kind of thing. Like I say, I imagine I'll be playing it for a little while. That is it for this one, and I'll catch you next time. So there we go. What do you think to that? How did I do with my preliminary? Yeah, that works. Game review. I feel I lost it somewhere in there and just started going, it's great, like I usually do. Anyway, before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review, you can leave a review, and check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
This is a Cookie Cast production.